Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome to my channel. My name is Kylie if you're new, and today is gonna be such a good day because I'm reviewing Bride of Chucky. This movie came out in 1998, received a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, and here's the synopsis. After being cut apart by the police, killer doll Chucky is resurrected by Tiffany. I just said oh my god, I just said Tiffany. I combined Tiffany and Jennifer. Is resurrected by Tiffany, an ex-girlfriend of the serial murderer whose soul is inside the toy. Following an argument, Chucky kills Tiffany and transfers her soul into a bride doll. To find the magical amulet that can restore them both to human form, Chucky and Tiffany arrange to be driven to New Jersey by Jesse and Jade, who are unaware that their cargo is alive. So as always, I will kick it off with some fun facts, then I'll get into my spoiler-free review, and then today I do have a reaction. I filmed my reaction to this movie, and then I will get into my spoiler-filled breakdown. So now to start off with some fun facts. In the opening scene, the masks of Michael, Jason, and Leatherface and the glove of Freddy Krueger can all be seen. Julia Stiles originally got the part of Jade, but she dropped out to star in the movie 10 Things I Hate About You. And this fact is hilarious because you'll see in my reaction, I actually thought that the girl that played Jade was Julia Stiles at first. Anywho, next fun fact. This is Brad Dourif's personal favorite Child's Play movie. There is a character in the film named Damien Baylock, which comes from the movie The Owen. And this comes from the 1976 movie The Omen. The child in that movie is named Damien and his nanny is named Mrs. Baylock. If I can find this poster online, I will put it up now, but there is a poster of this movie that is a parody version of Scream 2's poster. Two of Rob Zombie's songs are featured in this movie. One of them is Thunder Kiss 65 and another one is called Living Dead Girl. This is kind of funny because Brad Dourif would go on to star in Rob Zombie's Halloween movies. He played Sheriff Brackett. In doll form, Tiffany has to dye the doll's black hair to blonde, and in real life the actress Jennifer did have to dye her black hair to be blonde to play the character in this movie. Okay, that does it for my spoiler-free fun facts. I will have a couple more, but those have spoilers in them, so that'll be saved for my spoiler section. But now on to my review. I just want to preface really quick that this was my second time seeing this movie, sort of. I tried to watch it before several years ago. I couldn't tell you when. I don't know when I tried to watch this movie, but the first time that I watched it, I actually found it to be really boring and I turned it off, which is such a bummer because you guys, I ended up loving this movie. I don't know really what I found different about it this time. Maybe I just have a better attention span now, but I had such an amazing time watching this movie, and you'll see that during my reaction. But some people said that this movie, along with The Seed of Chucky, is one of the worst ones, and I just... why? Is it because of the tonal shift? I can understand that. Maybe if you don't like dark comedies, you probably wouldn't like this movie. But I thought going with comedy was kind of the natural next step for this franchise. There already were undertones of comedy in the first three, and granted those were still pretty serious films. Chucky himself was still pretty serious, but there was that underlining layer of comedy, and because they couldn't outdo part two really in terms of having a serious tone, so I think it was smart that they went in this direction. And maybe I only think this because the comedy in this movie did land for me, because with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, if you saw that review, it made sense to me why they went with comedy, but I felt that with that franchise there was still more to be explored with that family with a more serious and gritty tone. I didn't think that they should have jumped right to comedy, and especially because the comedy in that movie, I hated it. It just didn't work for me. So maybe I only agree with the direction this franchise took because the comedy landed for me and it felt very natural. And this is the third sequel. It's the fourth movie in a franchise. I think it's fair of them to shift directions at this point. You also see that in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise with The Dream Master Part 4. It's kind of interesting how both franchises with Part 4 took a kind of totally different direction, but I also just love any excuse to talk about The Dream Master because I love that movie. It's so underrated. I think that there is just so much room in horror to make light of the absurd and unrealistic kind of situations that characters get in, that comedy really works for me, but of course only if it's done well. And even though it was comedic, it still maintained a pretty gruesome atmosphere, and there were still really likable characters, really great writing. So even if you didn't like the comedy, I think that there was so much going for the movie to offset it that I don't really see how it could have been a problem. So on that note, the characters were super likable, and this raised the stakes of the movie, again offsetting the comedy. You know what else worked for me in this movie? Jennifer motherfucking Tilly. I mean, she could really act, and not just with her human body and her mannerisms and whatnot, but as a doll as well. Her ADR performance was amazing. I truly bought that these two people were inside these dolls. I was fully able to suspend my disbelief, and it's such an absurd concept, and yet I was like, yeah, I buy into it. Also, their Bonnie and Clyde dynamic was a lot of fun, and the way that their story somewhat mirrored the subplot of these two teenagers that they were following, I thought that was brilliant. So I highly recommend this movie. I actually, truly, I loved it. So for those of you that really didn't like this movie and you said that it was one of the worst of the franchise, I mean, come for me, I guess. So that concludes my spoiler-free review, and now on to my reaction of The Bride of Chucky. Here you go. Am I sitting on the ground in a very random location because it is the best lighting in this house? Yes, I am. But also, look, there's a cat. That is Absinthe, the light of my life. Actually, my other cat is the light of my life. I love this boy, but this is more my mom's cat. My lovely cat, Endora, is nowhere to be found right now, but maybe she'll stroll in at some point. So without further ado, I am going to start Bride of Chucky. Ronnie, you... Ugh, like, ew. Are you... whatever. I hate him. Whatever. Oh my god. Okay, I like totally forgot that Jennifer Tilly was in this movie. And this is what made her iconic, right? How did I forget that? Hold, wait, how? It was Miss Jennifer. Oh my goodness. Bad bitch alert. Bad bitch alert. This music, this feels like a time capsule. Oh, it's probably gonna get copyright, huh? Oh, this song is Rob Zombie. Are you kidding? Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm probably gonna have to put different music over that, but just know that that was the opening title of Bride of Chucky, written and performed by Rob Zombie, that I was dancing to, but I'm gonna have to put different music over that. Can't get copyrighted now because you girls monetized. I need that $3 or whatever that I'd make on this video. So sad but true. This video is probably gonna make me like $3. But thank you. Oh my gosh, so this is also the first one where we see the stitched Chucky. I live.
Jade, I have to tell you, this guy is a big improvement over the last one, I think.
Wait, who is this woman? I know her. Where do I know her from? Oh my god, no way. Is she the girl from 10 Things I Hate About You? No. The frosted tips on this boy. Truly, the 90s were a time. They were a time. Okay, again with tackling social issues?
I think Warren's in love.
Oh my gosh, he looks so creepy. This is the image that haunted me as a child. This was the image that ran amok in my imagination.
Back on your knees. Crawl. Good.
We love a powerful woman.
Stay down on the floor where you belong.
I love this dialogue, oh my god. This lighting is no longer a vibe. Okay, maybe I need to move. Oh, Absinthe, good morning. Oh no, back to sleep. Okay, time to find another location. You know what, the problem is that the lighting is gross basically everywhere in my house at like all angles. So, there's Endora, oh my god. Hi, Andy. Oh, maybe like right here. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Okay, carrying on.
Don't you think you've kept me waiting long enough?
No.
Oh.
That's right. We love a woman dom.
You see, we lived together for years. Of course, that was before the cops killed him.
Oh! He ripped out the... Oh, but actually... Really, he's gonna suffocate him with a pillow? I thought he might do something a little more... bloody? Okay, I love Tiffany's glow up.
Warren would kill us.
I don't care about Warren. That's why we're gonna disappear.
Where are we gonna go?
Anywhere you want.
Cheesy.
I think I'm gonna throw up.
Jade, marry me.
Look at her. Okay. Ooh. I love the meta commentary with her being like, that weapon is predictable. You look like Martha Stewart. And now they're gonna use nails?
Now!
Oh! Oh. Would that kill somebody though? They don't look that deep into his face.
I don't know. What would Martha Stewart do?
This movie's hilarious.
Shut up, or I swear to God, I'll vaporize you!
They have some crooked cops in this movie that like money. The dolls can get high. Are you kidding? I live for that. Oh my god. He just flipped off the stoner.
Rude fucking doll.
He blew up the police car? Goodness. What? I knew, yeah, I was like, that wouldn't kill him, right?
Or better, or worse.
Oh. Oh. That's fantastical. Doll sex. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Wow. Oh no! The way that he's holding her by the hair. Oh my god. No! No! Chucky's not dead though, right? Because he always... There it is. Alright, pretty happy ending. Wait, what is that? What? Ew! Oh my god, ew! A baby came out. Okay, gross. Gross. Okay. On to the review. Yeah, there you have it. That was my reaction to The Bride of Chucky. Now for my spoiler section, and I am going to start with some more fun facts that include spoilers. According to Jennifer Tilly, the sex doll scene was all improvised. At around 17 minutes in, Chucky twists his head around before he kills Damien, and this is a pretty obvious reference to The Exorcist. And coincidentally, Brad Dourif does star in The Exorcist 3. He plays the Gemini killer, who also makes a reference to Child's Play in that movie. At one point, Tiffany says to Damien, "Are you ready for a menage a trois?" And because he doesn't speak French, he didn't know that that essentially means a threesome. And finally, when Tiffany's pet tarantula lands on Damien's face, that was actually a CGI spider. So now for my spoiler-filled breakdown of the plot and whatnot, I actually don't have a ton of topics to get into today. I feel like this movie kind of speaks for itself in so many ways, and because I loved it, I don't have a lot of nitpicks or anything like that. I have a couple, but we'll get there. For my first topic, I just want to talk about how blown away I was yet again by the social commentary of this movie. In this movie, we witness how classism has led these teenagers to these really unfortunate circumstances. Jade's uncle doesn't approve of Jesse because he basically just thinks that he is trailer trash, he's up to no good, yada yada yada. We also see very blatant corruption of the police characters in this movie, which was so interesting to me. They were characters that were highly motivated by money, and they were just blatant antagonists, which, I mean, this movie was ahead of its time. But not a ton to touch on there, so moving on. This was one of my favorite performances of Brad Dourif by far, and I think it's because he had a partner to play off of. Like I said, I loved Jennifer Tilly in this movie. I thought her performance was immaculate, and I thought it was just such a brilliant and well-crafted execution of this idea to give Chucky a girlfriend. And despite them being the antagonists, they're dynamic enough with these interesting motivations to the point where you're somewhat rooting for them, if for no other reason than the fact that they are so entertaining together. I think my favorite scene with them together is the reference to Hellraiser when they try to kill Jade's uncle and all those needles fly into his face. That whole scene was just amazing with the action, the acting, the dialogue, the meta commentary. It was a beautiful scene. Also one of the more unique deaths that I've seen, but then of course he comes back. He wasn't actually dead. One death though that truly made me sad, and I'm kind of skipping to the end here, was, I think his name was David. He didn't do anything wrong at all, and he got his body essentially exploded by a truck. There is an episode of the podcast Our Hollywood where they talk about this kind of known trope catchphrase movies in Hollywood that's called Bury Your Gaze. And I'll do a little research, I'll post a better explanation of it up on screen, but it's basically just this trope that any LGBTQ plus characters in a movie are more expendable than their heterosexual counterparts, and so usually their most natural ending in a horror movie is just to kill them off. And that death bummed me out because, like I said, he died by a truck barreling into him. He wasn't even killed by Chucky or Tiffany. So it was a bummer moment because he was probably my favorite side character, but it did kick off the climax of this movie, which I really liked, so let's get into that. First off, let's just rewind a bit because Tiffany, an amazing character. Her motivations throughout the movie were always pretty clear, but her morality, that was a little bit more muddy. And in the ending, that heavily came into play. As far as motivations, she obviously just wanted someone to love her. She wanted to be engaged. She wanted to cook for them, have them clean up after her, have somewhat of a normal kind of domestic life, it seems. But throughout the movie, she kind of wavered back and forth on whether or not she was going down the right path being with Chucky. And I think that's because she started to empathize with the teenagers that they were supposed to steal the bodies from. And then by the end, she ends up turning on Chucky, which I think was a really good plot twist because you could have kind of guessed it. You could have kind of seen it coming. But I really thought she was gonna stay faithful to Chucky. But we love when a woman has the realization that she can do better. There was just some really great action also with that whole climax, and I love the character development that we got to witness with Tiffany's character in that whole scene as well. But the very final scene of this movie, right? So the baby pops out and it is horrifying. As of now, when I'm filming this, I have not watched Seed yet, but just judging on that very brief moment that we got there at the end, I don't think I'm gonna like it. I mean, the way that she was just pregnant for only 24 hours and the way that it came ripping and screaming out of her, and it had these sharp little teeth like a alligator, no thanks. No thanks. But even though I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be into it, I am weirdly very much looking forward to the Seed of Chucky. I just know it's bound to be a train wreck, and even if it's bad, I think I'm gonna be very entertained by it. So I'm very interested to see how I feel. I hope that you are as well, and if you are and you're new, consider subscribing. Wow, what a good segue into my outro. That does conclude my review, and before I get into the rest of my outro, I want to let you guys know that for my 2,000 subscriber special, I am gonna film a Q&A for you guys. So head over to the community tab on my channel. There is a post there where I ask you guys to ask me questions about my horror preferences or my personal life, basically anything that you want to know as long as it's appropriate. And I think that Q&A video will be coming out next week, so definitely get your questions in by this week, please. But if you're new here, I do post 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I also have a vlog channel if you want to see even more content from me, but I only post over there every 2 to 3 weeks, but I'll link that down below if you want to check it out. You can also follow me at Kai Johns on basically any social media platform. I have Depop, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, TikTok, you name it, that'll all be linked down below. There will also be some petitions and sources linked down below to some social issues that I think you should consider caring about, so definitely check those out, and I also update those every single week. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope I catch you in the next one. Bye!